I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago when I first get to see it, and I went there. There wasn't a lot of parents. It was like probably like 30 or like 25 parents, and it's all those kids. The kids were like very happy to see us because they saw someone who looks just like them, and it was fun. Like, and I love dancing, so I was chosen to be the instructor for dancing. So like I was happy to have all the kids and the parents around me. Like we're doing called a shoulder dance, which is kista, and we're doing that, and the family loved it. So every year from there on, like there's always more and more and more family. So since then on, we do it like every year. Actually, we do it like 4th of July, no, for the July 6th of the July until the 9th of July. So like for 3 days, or like 3 weekend, Friday to Sunday. And we always do it every year. So it's been actually like quite interesting, and it's been on the newspaper too, I think. I'm not sure, but yeah. And this year actually is going to be Maine, not New Hampshire. So we're moving back to Maine for a personal reason.
How does it feel? Can you, like, how does it feel to be able to talk about Egyptian? Wow, I did not know where that came from. How does it feel to be able to talk about Ethiopian culture with these kids? Like, what do you feel like when you're doing it?
It feels like you know something that you can show somebody else. It's like I don't know much. Like honestly, when I was back home, like in Ethiopia, I never learned anything about history. It's kind of ironic because I came here and I kind of know like all the, like I took American history and all that, and I can probably answer you more American history if you ask me now than ask me Ethiopian history, because I know this much about Ethiopian history. But at the same time, like the thing that we have to teach them was like simple like history, like what Amharic was like, and how to write Amharic, which I don't know how to write Amharic, but I can read a little bit. So like just teaching them those kind of things, and the kids just like they're very interested, like they ask all this kind of questions, like, so how would I say hi to my mom when I go back, if I find her, how would I say hello to my sister if I have a sister back home, because I don't know yet. Like my parents told me that I have a family back home, but I don't know who they are. Just tell them the basic information that how they have to approach their family if they ever go back home, which a lot of them did. Like after we start having the culture, like it's funny because we met like a lot of teens, like 14, 15, 16, and they're like, oh, we don't want to go to Ethiopia. Like we hear all this crazy thing about Ethiopia. Like we're scared. And then I had like I have a lot of groups with me, like those kids from MIT and all the other kids. So like no, actually it's not what it looks like. I've been there in Ethiopia. Like I went 2 years ago. It's just this and that. And I have like a few kids who went back to Ethiopia, like, and they wanted to go back right now. And they're like, oh my God, it was so fun. Like I get to meet my family. And now they like taking our place, teaching those kids how to so it makes you feel like you're doing something that's very youthful that they couldn't find anywhere else. Obviously you go to school, you learn a lot of things, but nobody ever teach you like your backgrounds, So it was something for us that, like for me and for my friend, was something that we actually we do love doing it, and it makes us feel really good. Like you get like that feeling like I'm doing something that can help other people.
So you teach. Awesome. So I think we were talking about camp.
Camp.
And we were talking about what it's like to be able to
teach others and being able to show what you know.
Yeah. So I know that you do Ethiopian dance. Can you tell us a little bit about why you choose to teach that to the kids, and also what dance means to you?
Well, I mean, culture camp, like Ethiopian, like we have our own traditional song music. Like there's a lot of kind of songs, and which when we do a lot of culture camp, culture show and everything, which I actually used to do like Boston College in BU. I have a friend who graduated from Boston University and Boston College. So like there would be like an African night, like an African fashion show night, and Ethiopian will be one of the group that will perform there. Like we have like our own Ethiopian outfits and Ethiopian music, and we'll go on stage and perform. So like all those that's a way of like the culture camp, like culture dance or Ethiopian traditional music is the way of showing like the way of the culture of Ethiopia. Like the basic music comes from like traditional music, which is like based on shoulder dance and dressing up very traditionally, like a long dress for a woman, and a man always wearing like something white and a scarf around. And so it was very meaningful for the kids to know that, instead of like showing them like the modern style music. It's better to show them that more of the traditional ways. so that way they know what exactly traditional means, and how they dress up. And it's just I choose to do that because I don't know. I guess they must have believed that I was better, like I was a good dancer than the other kids. Which even though I have like a lot of friends who's actually a good dancer, but I was also like I'm never afraid. Like a lot of people like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. That's kind of embarrassing. I don't want to do dancing and stuff. And I'm on the other side, I'm on the other hand, I'm like the kind of person like, who just like, oh, sure, you want me to dance? I'll go up there and dance. I don't really care. Like it's just what I know, and I don't mind showing people that who wants to know about it. So it was just that. I think that's just the only reason why they choose me to do it, because I was comfortable doing it, while the other people are kind of maybe embarrassed or uncomfortable to do it.
What does the fact that that it's traditional dance as opposed to more modern stuff, like why or can you tell me a little bit about the differences between the two of them?
The difference, I don't know if I can't tell you like a huge difference, but somehow it's just I don't know if that's the way I was just raised up. Like everybody's raised, like everybody, like if you say Ethiopian, like Ethiopian traditional music, if you go on YouTube, you will find all the traditional kind of music. So it's like traditional music has been like the way of to describe Ethiopia. Like if you say Ethiopian, like, oh my God, I love the shoulder dance. If you say like Ethiopia, like the first thing they say, like, oh, I love the food, which you call injera, or the shoulder dance. That's the first thing people know about it. So it's just like a way of like Hispanic, like Spanish music. Like you go salsa, like that's more like a traditional way, like their outfit and everything. And what's another music like? An Irish, like the top, like dance. Like if you go Ireland, that's the first thing that you will know about Ireland, about their dance style. So like Ethiopian dance style has been like traditional, would be like the first one that existed in Ethiopian music style. Like traditional was the first one that was the music there, and now like everybody's like, there's rap, there's all that kind of music now. But the first music, like there's like in America, there was the first music like what is it, like jazz, all those kind of, like if you go to New Orleans, like traditional New Orleans music is like jazz music and all those kind of things. So I guess that's the only best explanation I can give. Is like it's been like the best way to show like traditional of Ethiopia, like what Ethiopian dance is like, instead of what's now in the modern time.
So what do you hope that the biggest thing that kids get from your dance experience is?
Drop something.
Good.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. It should be on F1. Is that what it says? The middle one.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Sorry.
What's the biggest thing that you hope the kids get from your dancing experience? Like, what do you hope that they would learn?
Oh, honestly, I don't expect them to learn how to dance. I honestly don't. I just want them to know, or I just want them to see, and I just want them to have fun at the moment, Because a lot of them will just jump and start dancing. And I don't really care if you're going to keep doing that tomorrow. I don't really care. But as for right now, you're here with me, and we're there for like the main event is called Culture Camp. We're showing the culture of Ethiopia to those kids. And it makes me feel a lot better when I see all those kids like are doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is having a culture camp time, camping for culture camp, like doing something that's cultural, doing something that's more traditional, instead of just, we do a lot of events, like we play soccer and everything, but at night we always do the dancing and stuff. And we also do like a teens panel, like where I just grab all the teens, and I just talk to them. Like, remember last year was this girl, like, when she's only like 14, and she was telling me a story about like she couldn't tell anybody, but she felt like safe enough to tell me all those kind of things, which I can't tell about it, but it made me feel like a lot better. It's the fact that I was being able to, share, having her tell me all that kind of stuff, and being able to look after her like she's my little sister. All this that's the main reason why we do this thing, like being able to find those kids who are afraid to talk to anybody because they just feel like they're different from one another, and they just see you dancing, and they start asking you a question like, why'd you, like, they will ask you like, why do you start with your shoulder? Why not shake your, like, your hips, or why not shake your, your butt, or whatever, like for the girls, why do you start with shoulder? And it's just for me like, oh well, shoulder dance based on the shoulder dance, like this is how you do it, this is how you do it. It's kind of fun. For the family, they love just watching that. So I guess my hope is that, I do hope that, like, they remember that, And so if anybody asks them like what Ethiopian dance are like, they will be able to show them like you go, oh, where you from? Ethiopia? Like, oh, what kind of dance do you guys do? Oh, we do shoulder dance. I want to be able to know that. But if not, that's not a crime for me, you know.
I have a question about the types of dances that you guys are teaching with the camps. Is it only Amharic dancing, or is it Oromo?
There's all kinds. There's Oromo, Tigrinya, Gurage, which is more like, you know, with your feet and stuff. There's a lot of variety of Ethiopian music based on traditional. So yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
Well, I actually like all, to be honest. But I'm pretty good at like on the Amharic or the shoulder dance, so I guess I can choose that. Or maybe that's because that's my first language, I guess.
Can I ask really quickly? What does dance mean in Ethiopia? We're kind of curious as to like how you learn to dance growing up. Is it something that your parents teach you? Do you learn from like other kids in school, or how like? And what does it mean to the greater community? You talk about like it being such like a uniting force almost at this camp that you're working at, but like how does that reflect what it's like in Ethiopia itself?
It's so funny. That's kind of ironic because when I was home, I was a little kid, and I was really terrible at dancing. Like me and my twin brother, like our dad used to say, "Oh, I'll give you money for anybody who knows who's a better dancer than one another." So they always, anybody who's like older than us, they always like to us fighting, like competing one against one another, and I was just terrible. Like I was really bad. And then the funny thing is that I came here and I went a wedding music, like some Ethiopian wedding, and I see all these people like just dancing and everything, and I feel like, oh wow, that just feels like exactly when I was back home with my like everybody dancing, and I was that kid who just used to stand on the corner. Like I have a niece who's like she's a professional dancer, she lives in Ethiopia, absolutely insane. And then I started thinking like maybe I should learn to dance, like, and you're probably gonna laugh at this, but and I started going home, like I have my headphones, I start downloading Ethiopian music, and I just, what the heck? Like I just sat, get in, like in my room, like have the mirror, and just like start dancing. Like I honestly just learned by thinking back on. Like every time I start doing dancing, I always felt like I was home. I always feel like it always brings that kind of memory. Like when I feel like I remember like people used to do this back home. I remember like I always wanted to do this with my twin brother. So it's been like a way for me to reconnect myself with like all the people that I know in Ethiopia, And with that being said, it was just, and there like every time there's a concert, we'll just go out and I see everybody dancing, and then I start like, I kind of forced myself, but at the same time I start loving it. I guess like I was like, my focus was like, when it comes to dancing, like I just focus on like learning how to do Ethiopian dancing. It's just, has been my main goal for the past, since I was like 9th grade until like I graduated from high school. And then like when somewhere in, like I heard about like, oh, there's a fashion show. I went to like the first time I went to Boston College, and I see like Ethiopian culture camp show, like a fashion show, like where they dressed up Ethiopian clothes, and some other people who non-Ethiopian were doing it because they couldn't find any Ethiopian who knows how to dance. And I'm like, it was kind of embarrassing for me. Like I was just sitting there, like I see like a guy, which like he was pretty good at it, but like you always feel like someone who's non-Ethiopian, like dancing, like watching someone who's non-Ethiopian doing Ethiopian dance while the Ethiopian person is actually sitting there and watching him. And that kind of made me feel like I need to learn how to do it. So next year I want to be on that stage, present to myself and my culture instead of somebody else trying to represent it, which is not a bad thing, but at the same time you always wanted to do for what belongs to you, you always wanted to do it. So after that year, something just got me like, you want to do something with that?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think that's the
the
fan.
lady in the back. That's what I was concerned about. Did you hear her?
They're downstairs.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it'll be fine.
I think the fan will be fine. Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll just cut.
Well, it's better for me to stop. I don't want you like, you won't be able to cut it when I'm talking.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
But yeah, so it's like, and I think that was one of the most encouraging or inspiring thing for me to do, is like when I saw them doing that, and I wanted to be that person the following year, which happened to be, I happened to like be able to do it. I wasn't great, and I'm still not as best as I wanted to be, but but I was able to be like, my friend like, hey, like I know we saw you at the party dancing last time, so we figured like you might be good if you wanted to